In this video, we are going to go over the exact strategy that made my clients multiple seven figures in the past 60 days. And I'm going to be breaking down my exact strategy that my agency uses to actually succeed in meta ads and actually using these meta ads to generate multiple seven figures for our clients. Make sure you guys take this video with a grain of salt. This is what I've learned through my success running an agency and running a bunch of different industries ad accounts and actually scaling their ads to multiple seven figures. Take this video with a grain of salt, use the knowledge and pivot it so you can implement it into your agency, or if you're a business owner, into your business today. Let's get into the video. So this exact strategy is simple. It has 3 phases, and this ad system has scaled dozens of businesses. So it's going to be built around testing your data and reinvestment into your ad account so you can run a lean campaign with a very smart amount of spend and actually build that predictable growth and client acquisition system, not only in your business, but if you're an agency owner. Because the better you get at running ads, the better you're gonna grow your business and your agency to the point where you make more money, your clients make more money, you get more referrals, and it's just overall a great system. Getting into phase 1, the tester campaign and the data collection stage. So just a fun fact, you guys can't even start actually spending more than $5 a day until after at least a week or 2 of running these ads, because you have no data. I want you guys to think of Meta as a data soldier. So with that exact information, you guys have to understand, how can I best train Meta? That is all of phase 1. We're gonna teach you how to train it, how to upload a tester campaign so you could run that campaign for at least 2 weeks. So then we can go to phase 2, which we'll go in later, to actually up the spend and actually get leads on autopilot for your client. So the start of it. So what you're gonna start with is uploading a basic campaign, and comment down below if you do not know how to make a campaign, and I'll make a separate video actually how to do that. But you're gonna start with a budget of $5 a day per ad set, like I said, around a week or 2 weeks, so 10 to 14 days. And the objective is lead generation or engagement. It depends on your funnel. The structure, you're gonna have one campaign with 3 to 5 ad sets. And ad sets are essentially just, you're actually programming the ad. So the behaviors, the demographics, the location, basically telling that video or that creative what to go to, what audience to push that video out to. Then you're gonna go in and run that at $5 a day. I want you guys to think of that $5 a day spend as a benchmark. All 3 of these videos that you're gonna be running are gonna be fighting for that $5. So obviously what that means is the one that comes out at the end of that 10 to 14 day period is going to be a winner, and we're gonna graduate that to the winning campaign. So what we're gonna test and how we're gonna actually create those videos. So that's just the campaign setup and the structure of the tester campaign. These creatives, the video static images, these are different variations that you can use. So obviously we have the video creatives. The static images are just blank images. And we're gonna use UGC creators, because if you're a client or if you're a business owner and you're not good at speaking on camera, or you just don't want to have your face on camera, you can hire a UGC creator. That means it's basically like an actor you can find on Fiverr, Upwork, TikTok, and overall just DM them on Instagram if you want, and add that solid ad copy, right, with a strong CTA so they can just go out and film that. So what your targeting is gonna look like, it's gonna be very broad. It's gonna have a little bit of a lookalike audience based on that first few days of running it, just so you can see what resonates and who actually bites. Because again, running a campaign, you're basically casting a net into the water and hoping you catch some fish on that tester campaign. You don't have data. You don't have bait that has actually worked in the past that you can retarget, because it's your first campaign. You need data so that retargeting campaign, you can actually go in with that bait and actually know that this has worked in the past. And it only shows that bait to fish who have bought before. And you're gonna keep it, especially if it's a local business, you're gonna keep the targeting at a local radius 10 to 15 miles around that area. Or if your client is like a auto body shop and people are coming and are willing to drive over 15 miles, take that into account. So the key metrics to track are cost per lead, click-through rate. Click-through rate is if they go on the video and they swipe right away. They swipe on your ad right away. We don't want that. We wanna actually stop that scroll. The hook engagement, so you can actually see the data of how many people viewed past 3 seconds of that video. So obviously you have to go into that retention phase and look at that retention phase and be like, okay, 14% viewed past the first 3 seconds. Who are those people? What age category are they in? Who are they? Male or female, just so when we actually up the spend, because remember, we're only spending $5 a day. When we up the spend, we actually understand that, okay, here's the people we need to target in that ad set level. Here is a case study of one of our tester campaigns for our clients that absolutely crushed. So as you can see, we had 56 leads at $5 a day with a $2.67 cost per lead, which is insane. This was one of our best tester campaigns that we've ever ran for our clients, only with $149 in spend. Essentially, how we came to this winning ad is we tested multiple ad sets, like said right here, and we had 3 ads going. By the end of that 2 weeks, all we did was look at that ad that had the most spend, and then we turned off the other 2 that didn't get the majority of the $5 over those 14 days, and we just upped the spend because we already have a winning ad. And then once we go to phase 2, which is actually finding the patterns and scaling it, we're actually just gonna up the spend and then make more videos like that winning ad. So the second phase is the pattern finder. So in this phase, it's a little bit intricate, but we're gonna go into details on actually how to identify, after that 2-week period of running this tester campaign, how to identify the data and be able to optimize it to succeed, to up the spend, to bring in more leads from that winning ad on that tester campaign. So obviously, the goal is going to be to identify and analyze what is performing best in our testing campaign. So turn that data into actionable steps to scale and have a campaign that brings in leads on repeat for your business or your client's business. So the focus is going to be to find top performing hooks, creatives, and audiences that drove the best engagement and lowest cost per lead from that tester campaign, and we're just going to scale that here. So I can't emphasize enough on that tester campaign to test as many creatives as possible and actually never turn off that tester campaign. You should have a testing campaign running your entire time running ads. You should have a 3-step framework, which is obviously the 3 phases that we're going to go in here, but it should be a tester campaign constantly running, a scaling campaign constantly running, and then another campaign where you're just testing winning ads on that 3rd campaign to be ahead of the market, because your ad could get copied and it could get creative fatigue, which means it performs very well. The market becomes sophisticated and copies it, and your actually CPL gets way higher, which is not what we want. We want to keep that low. The key metrics that we're going to try to look for with that data are lowest cost per lead, highest click-through rate, and strongest hook retention in the first 3 seconds. We're going to look for this, and we're going to look at, okay, here's the data. Here's that lead that opted in. What is their age? What is their gender? And why did they opt in? What do they like? Meta will give you that data, and you're going to be able to plug and play that either into a custom audience or simply just a lookalike. A lookalike is essentially someone who has bought from you. Meta is going to create an exact audience just like that person, same age, gender, demographic, etc., same area, and basically show your ad to them. That's what you're going to do in the scaling campaign. And if we go back to that tester, you got to understand that you can't scale. You're probably like, Jaden, well, why can't I spend more than $5? Well, you have no data. You're basically just running a marathon without actually training for it. You need to gather the data so then you can go out and retarget and actually scale that campaign predictably. That's the goal. You don't want to just spend aimless money for your business or your client's business. Not only will that have high churn for you as an agency owner, but again, if you're a business owner, it's just wasting money. So the tools, data, and sources. So what we're going to look for on how to actually track all this is, obviously we're going to have the Meta Ads Manager. We're going to have the campaign breakdown reports and the creative insights in the dashboard and the audience performance tab. So this is all in Ads Manager. It's all in Ads Manager. So if you guys want a video breaking that down, how to actually navigate Ads Manager, comment down below. I'm open to always making a video on how to navigate that. But all the tools and data and sources you need are in Meta Ads Manager. That's all you need. So the actions. So we're going to review data from phase 1, spot the lowest cost per lead and the highest CTR. And we're going to find those patterns and visuals and just copy them and just change the hook, change the call to action a little bit. But we already found a winning ad from the tester campaign. That's the reason why we test so many creatives and why it's constantly running. So when we find a winning one, the testing phase always takes 2 weeks, whether it's a new batch of creatives and you want to scale, or your winning ones from that first tester campaign get creative fatigue, so you want to test a new batch, like it, but a little bit different, you're always going to have that tester campaign running. So just copying it, making it different, depending on your market sophistication, revamping it so it looks better, so you have a new offer, new hook, better than your competition. Those are the actions we're going to want to take. That takes us to insights. So the winning creatives use emotion or transformation. So audiences that engage most are warm or lookalike sets. And how do we get those lookalike sets? Like I said, we have to gather data. Meta knows the more you warm up your account and the more it trusts you as an advertiser, who your ideal demographic is. If you test it correctly, if you gather the data correctly, it will know. So your audiences are most likely to engage when you're creating lookalike sets, and you want to have a shorter, high contrast visual to perform best. I live by this. When I started my agency, I was just filming on my phone. And obviously I knew the quality isn't as good as Coca-Cola or any of these massive brands that have these amazing looking ads. But I knew if I had a strong offer, I would be able to compete with them. That's why Meta is so powerful. But as you grow and as your business gets better, if you have an amazing looking video, very high quality, very good, but also a good offer, that's of course gonna perform better. But like I said, if you're just going for the amazing look and you spend thousands on a camera and you have a bad offer, the person like me, obviously I don't have this anymore, but the person like me with a phone recording with a good offer is going to perform better than the person that has just a good looking video but no clear offer. So what to eliminate when scaling from the tester campaign to this phase, which is actually the scaling campaign, we're going to up the spend. So you want to have high CPL ad sets. So you want to have low hook retention ads and unengaged audiences. We want to eliminate that. And obviously you can just see that data within Meta Ads Manager. We just went over all the tools, data, and sources you can see there. We just want to eliminate it. Simply just turn it off. And we get that, again, I'm repeating myself to ingrain it in your guys' heads, that you get this by testing a bunch of creatives and turning off what isn't working and scaling what is. That leads us to the outcome. So this is going to give you guys a clear blueprint of winning ads and audiences to scale next. So this becomes a foundation of the scaler campaign, which is phase 3, and we'll get right into it. But the reason I have this post-it with leads is because this is the goal. All of this just funnels into this. All we want is leads. This is all we want. That's the goal of this business, leads and sales. That's why we're in the marketing space. That's why we're helping other businesses. And if you're a business owner, obviously you know the importance of having consistent lead flow and predictable lead flow, because you don't know what period or what season your business in, and you need to understand that with this data, you now have a predictable outlet to get consistent leads on autopilot. That leads us to the last and final phase, phase 3. So the scaling system, duplication, retargeting, and automation. These are the 3 campaigns we're going to be running. This is the 3 campaigns that I run for all my clients: the tester, the scaling, and then the third phase, which is scaling more, duplicating, retargeting, and automation, which is essentially just testing new things that are winning ads in our scaling campaign where we up the spend, and just trying it in phase 3, but also using automation to make it easier on these businesses. So we'll get right into it. So scaling and optimization framework. We want to manage these campaigns, right? And duplicate the budgets and optimizations so it's just easier for these businesses. They don't want to constantly go in, and you don't need to be sending screenshots to these clients. They need to have a predictable growth system that books that into their calendar, and you use that through Go High Level. And again, I'll make a video if you want on how to navigate this, but this is more of a video of explaining my ad framework. So comment down below if you want or have any other questions. I'm free to answer them. So this is exactly, again, Botarini Marketing Growth System. So this represents right here, we'll go into it, the BMG methodology. This system has taken data, it's tested and automated all of our clients to be able to scale to multiple 7 figures in client profits in the past 60 days. So we'll get right into it. The scaling and retargeting automation. So you want to duplicate the top performing ad sets, increase the budgets by 20 to 30% every 48 hours. And people are like, why every 48 hours? That basically gives you the time, especially when you're spending more money, you can clearly see where most of the spend is going. So you want to scale the ones that are working and turn off the ones that aren't. And you want to maintain that cost per lead and that click-through rate stability while testing these new creatives. So again, you want to run targeting campaigns for warm audiences using testimonials, reviews, and emotional CTAs. So why I want to emphasize on this framework, the testimonial and review phase, is because the only thing people stopping you from buying for you online is trust. So the more trust you can add into your videos, into your ads, the more likely people are going to buy. And I can't stress this enough. There's an analogy I always tell my clients before they actually become clients on why I want them to do content and ads simultaneously, is because if their Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, etc. don't look good and you're running ads and a lead is on the edge of that ad they see in their feed, they go to your page to look through it and it looks like crap, obviously they're not going to convert. You need to understand that they work simultaneously. The better you post, the more consistent you are, the easier it's going to be for those clients who are on edge to actually take that next step and convert with you. Going back into it. So you want to automate the retargeting loops every 14 days. And this actually rotates new creatives every single 3 weeks. So we actually don't get the creative fatigue if people copy you. Of course, we're not going to turn off or lower the spend of the ad sets and ads that are actually converting, but we want to monitor that ROAS weekly. So we're like, okay, this is getting a little bit of creative fatigue. This is performing extremely well. We're getting copied. So that leads us into actually turning these case studies from our clients into profitable funnels that actually lead to this growth cycle with our ads. So what we want to do with that is actually track the metrics, right? Coming from the ads manager and reporting dashboards, like we talked about in the scaling phase. And again, the third phase is more of the scaling phase, more intricate, testing even more winning ads. So when we find a winning ad from the tester campaign and bring it to that scaling campaign, we need to understand that the third phase is literally just trying new variations of the winning ad in the scaling phase. So we already know it's a winning ad, but again, like I said, I've been bringing up creative fatigue a lot. We want to constantly be ahead of the competition and be ahead of the sophistication in our market. So using automated rules to scale or pause ad sets based on performance. So you can connect a tool like Go High Level to actually watch the data coming in more intricately. So it is going to send you alerts. And if you use Go High Level, you know what I'm talking about if you're a business owner, but to new agency owners, I recommend connecting GHL just to track performance a little bit better and to kind of systemize everything. So then you're going to, like I said, like link the data with CRM, with your CRM, which is a customer relationship management center, or Go High Level for lead tracking and attribution. So guys, that is pretty much it for my 3-phase process on how to actually create these winning ads and scale them. And if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to comment them and subscribe for more, because I'm going to be putting multiple videos like this out every single week.